Thanks for visiting Bituminous Kole. New videos every Wednesday and Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern. Today, I'm returning to the Central Indiana and Western in Lapel, Indiana for more action. Slower action, to be sure. Why slow? This video captures switching and some of their transload operation. It doesn't whiz by at 60 miles an hour like a CSX train at home base Fortville on the Indianapolis line, but it is important business for the railroad, keeping customers fed. The first Bituminous Kole video featuring the Central Indiana and Western showed holiday excursions and freight operations pulling empty cars out of Brockway, Owens-Illinois. There's a link in the detail below if you'd like to see that video. All right, let's see the new stuff. Let's go to Lapel, Indiana for the transload, and let's go to Anderson for the switching. Let's go to the trains. Now I know if I'm in an elementary school that's at trackside and the switching is happening next to the building, I'm going to be a daydreaming and watching that switch action. And it's funny what you'll hear next. I thought this was a radio transmission of the railroad. Nope. It's school announcement time.
Morning, Anderson Elementary Last Monday, the last week before spring break. Anderson Mariner time is 9:16. Let's please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, moment of silence, and the Mariner Way. Let's say the Pledge of Allegiance together at this time. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Nicely done. Now let's all join together to observe a brief moment of silence.
Oh my goodness, look at that sun. Welcome to daylight savings time. And the sunrise comes an hour later, and wow. Anyhow, heck yeah, just got the Central Indiana and Western. I was doing some switching in Anderson. I first went to Lapel, checked it out, like, nothing going on here. A little disappointing. But noticed there was only one locomotive in its trackage there. I thought, well, shoot, where are the other two? There's nowhere to hide. They gotta be somewhere. So I decided to go and just kind of, the track goes diagonally and the roads go this way. So I'm doing this, following the path of the track. And sure enough, I come upon the train building the last bits of it before running towards Anderson. And I should probably get running and see if I can't catch it again in Anderson, making the handoff to CSX. I've wanted to see this for a long time. Yeah.
And so I ran down the way and found the train very quickly. Stopped at Locust Street. The Locust is right near to where the CI&W joins with CSX. The first shots were on Rabel Avenue at Jackson Park. And it was nice being able to park right at the park and set up shop and get those views that we saw already. With all the cameras set up, it was just a matter of waiting for that train to make a move. Would it go forward? Would it go in reverse? I don't know. Well, I put the bird up in the air to take a look at the grounds. And here we can see there are quite a lot of cars. Well, we saw that, and I was surprised at how long that train was coming past Jackson Park. And I believe this is their transload facility, the main one that is. And then this, was surprised to see this item, old switcher. I don't know if this just stays at the facility. I've never seen it back in Lapel. I'll ask for some help from you, the viewer. If you know, chime in the comments. Let us know. What's the backstory on this? I mean, it looks like it was Conrail, perhaps. You see some blue hanging in there. It was just dunked in tar or something. Well, they always called Penn Central's dip jobs, but I digress. Well, hearing that engine throttle up, I realized I needed to return my focus to this grade crossing. And a friendly conductor there. The train is now entering CSX trackage, and you can see it's being observed. These moves are being observed by CSX personnel in the white pickup truck there next to the signal bungalow. And into the distance, those taller buildings. That is downtown Anderson, Indiana. I remember enjoying watching the conductor ride. Another thing I was enjoying was the grinding of the wheels against the rails. Man, that's fantastic. You get different grinds at different speeds. I see so many trains moving at high speed. When they're moving around a curve, you just get a continuous squeal. This has some character, has some variety in groans and moans and squeals. While there was a break in the switching action, I decided to fly and take some other views. For instance, this building, this triangular-shaped building at the right. I'm going to turn around once I get, far enough away to see it. There we are. It's an interesting building. It's built to the contour of the roads, whether vehicular roads or railroads. It conforms to the space that was available. And that you see that door. I can imagine rail cars being delivered into that space. Certainly along the side that's parallel to the track, now trees and power poles. I would imagine that there was rail service, box cars perhaps, delivered to a siding there. Anderson has lost so much with the decline of the automotive industry and the supply chain. So I'm really happy to see this kind of activity here in Anderson at this transload facility. So good on CI&W for running this. Just really love seeing it. At this point, the switching action really slowed down, and my clock was running fast, so I needed to mosey on. But was really, really happy to catch as much as I caught here. I was, again, surprised at the length of the train and surprised at how many cars were being switched. And never did get to see that handoff with CSX, but hey, another time. Now it's time to go back to Lapel. On 2 different dates, I visited Lapel looking for more typical rail action, and instead, both times, found transload action happening. I was told that this was the transloading of plastic pellets. I spoke to the man at the rear of the truck and asked him if he minded if I shot some video here. And I loved his response. He said, "Hey, it's a free country. Let's hear it for Live and Let Live." I was happy to give him a courtesy, though. You can see how the maintenance of track has been altered to support the transloading operation in this area, with gravel filling the space between the rails so that the trucks and the people can navigate the area more easily. It's a finer kind of rock than typical ballast. The gravel is even, dare I say, manicured around the grade crossing. And huzzah! I found another one of these concrete loading platforms, as I did in Newcastle. I love seeing these things. I don't know. I was here in the same place a few days earlier. The scene looked awfully similar. Just a little bit more sunshine. Before I wrap it up, I'll go back to when I mentioned that I'd looked around the Pell hoping to see some action. When I realized that 2 locomotives were out, I dashed to Anderson and found action there. Here's what I found at Lapel at OI, Owens-Illinois, which is, yes, here in Indiana. And here we see CI&W 1345, a GP10, built in 1950. Now, I've heard it said that this unit is just stored here. 2 things make me think that's not the case. First thing, it's coupled up to the hopper there. And also the rails, I mean, they're not rusty. So I got to believe that thing's being used or moved, even if it's only used on the premises of the plant here. Well, I do hope you enjoyed this second Bituminous Kole video featuring the Central Indiana and Western Railroad. If you enjoyed this look at the railroad and want to see more, please click the link on the screen to see the first Bituminous Kole video featuring this excellent Indiana short line. And be sure to join me again on Bituminous Kole, and I'll take you to the trains.